Hello, you curious people. I'll grant you the enjoyment of not being clickbait and offering what this video promises, but in just a second. Because if you clicked on this video, you like to learn. And this video is sponsored by Skillshare, an online learning community with over 30,000 classes that are all awesome. All the courses are done by talented, experienced, and passionate people, so you can actually learn something. People keep telling me my filmed videos can get a little cringy at times, but once I'm done with this course about all the things that I don't know yet, I'll be a cinema master. It's like a compact college for hardly any cash at all. This beautiful man with a name I clearly can't pronounce has taught me all about rotoscoping and other editing tools that will directly improve the quality of my craft. It's totally worth every penny, but if you like pinching pennies, click the link below for not 1, but 2 free months of knowledge. That's a free pass into Big Brain Town, so come join me on the path to having giant brains. As a writer and a dungeon master, writing up unique puzzles and traps can be a real struggle, but finding a riddle your players don't already know is a next to impossible feat. So I took the time to try and understand the structure of spoken riddles, then make some sort of template I can come back to again and again, and this video is what I came up with. Riddles vary from culture to culture, and even the definition of a riddle itself is debated by different scholars. I'm not one of those. I'm actually pretty dumb. But the way that I would describe a riddle is a question posed to describe an object or concept, stated in an enigmatic fashion to puzzle the listener. The main focus of a riddle is, of course, the enigmatic property, the angle of the question that only creates more questions. This is done by using words with double meanings, diverting expectations, or employing cryptic adjectives that aren't normally used to describe your riddle's answer. My favorite way of doing this is to start with a subject matter that everyone is familiar with. Ideally, it should be a common or abstract noun, because the more familiar people are with your subject, the more versatile your riddle is. A few examples are the sun, the ocean, a hole, death, shadows, and, a dragon. This is your answer. Then make a list of words that are taboo, things that would make the riddle way too obvious. For something like the sun, you should avoid words like shine, radiance, glow, light, stuff like that. One golden rule I've found that makes writing good riddles easy is to personify objects and ideas, or to
objectify
animals or people. Often with this tool, a riddle can subvert speculation by implying something takes a different action than it's able to, but describing the rest of it accurately. My body is vast, and I travel far. My life ends when my sorrows turn to tears. This riddle subject is a cloud, but clouds can't really be sad, I don't think. See how I immediately spoiled the riddle there? Maybe it was a little confusing at first, but now that you know the answer, it's a useless phrase. Like a locked door that you now always have the key to, right in your memory. The best riddles are what we call bulletproof. Almost impossible to figure out when you don't have the answer, but with the answer, it's a less than useless phrase. This is also a trait of painfully abstract riddles, which are, of course, the most difficult in a way. The more abstract the description, and the shorter the riddle, the more hidden the answer is. Take, for example, the Sphinx's riddle. What is it that walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 in the evening? The fact that a single day is a metaphor for an entire life, and the 3rd leg isn't a dick, but it's a walking stick, is extremely frustrating and confusing. Now look at 2 iterations of the same riddle, both made difficult by either size or abstraction. White field, black seeds. In front of him he led oxen. White fields he plowed. A white plow he held. A black seed he sowed. The answer I wouldn't have figured out was writing. There are more unique ways to write riddles than the one I'm presenting, my favorite being the Killer's Paradox riddle. Your life shall end by my hand, but I allow you a choice. Speak the truth to me, and I shall grind your bones. Speak a lie to me, and I will remove your head. The answer you need is to create a paradox, and most people would just say the self-contained, "This statement is false." But my favorite answer is to relate to the prompt itself and say, "You will remove my head." Now that we have the cornerstone of our theory, I'm gonna make a bunch of example riddles and just break them down for you people. To know me is to be alive. To touch me is a journey that leads to death. To see me is to know pain. I hold many secrets, and beneath me is life. I am forever changing, but to many appear the same as I did in the beginning. To learn my deepest secrets, you must search in darkness. I am known to all whose eyes open and close. Many earn my embrace, others cling to my arms. The passing of days will bring you to me, and to deny me is to forsake yourself. She blossoms from the smallest intention, and brings life to those who draw near her. But to nurture her is to invoke rage unrivaled. Pride of kings, age measured in wealth, powerful as the sun, terrifying as a blackened sky, hidden where the world is hollow, resting on a mountain tribute. It's the sun. I started with the sun, then I personified it, and then I came up with random facts about it and made them sound weird. This one is the ocean, and it should be a little easier because of its length. I could have added something about the veil it wears, relating to the surface of the ocean, but that would have been too much detail, and the riddle would be even easier. If your riddle is too long, it'll be hard for the reader to consider other answers because of how much you described. I wrote this one a while ago, and during peer review I deleted the answer, and I think it's death, which is a really common answer. Which brings me to a different point. You should try to avoid topics that would be people's first thought, like nothing, death, time, or darkness. She is fire, but I described it as a plant or a young animal. This one works well because every part of it is a metaphor and only requires a few statements to lock down what the only answer could be. It's long enough to be relatively simple, but abstract in a poetic way. Also, it's a dragon. I mentioned birds earlier, but they're hard to hide in a riddle because of how poetically they're already described. I have to steer clear from words like freedom, float, soar, feather, song, all that fun stuff that I want to use. So picking a direction is tough, because once you have a trait of the subject in mind, it's easy to build on it. I've decided to describe them as a tool to make their nature like a function. Here we go, let me know if you can figure out what this is. My center stores the stones of life, which scatter in my wake. I mark the rising sun with 100 voices, and I speak to all the earth as I tend to her vines. This is the point where I realized I don't know how to end the video, because I failed English and hated doing conclusions for essays. The cool thing about making videos is that you don't have to pretend that you're smart if you aren't, because it's whatever you want it to be. I can literally end the video in the middle of a sentence.